listening to Republic Broadcasting Network, because you can handle the truth.
What Really Happened with your host, Mike Rivero. You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network, where you'll find out what the Fukushima's going on.
And aloha, America. Welcome to our show today. It is Wednesday, March 25th, 2020, middle of the weekday, hump day, starting that long, slow glide down to Pauhana Friday and another crazy weekend here. And, of course, I don't know how crazy it's going to be. Everything's getting locked down, and they're already talking about, the governors of various states are going to increase restrictions on people. So we'll see what's going to happen there. Been a really good day on the stock market. It was soaring there for a while, but a bit of a drop off here toward the market close here. And I think the reason for that is very simple. The market opened, it was going down. Then it started going up on the news that the Senate and the White House had reached an agreement on the coronavirus relief bill. And everybody said, oh, okay, the problem's over. People are going to get money. They're going to be buying stuff. And the stock market soared. Then later on in the day, we got word that Nancy Pelosi is still trying to get her version of the coronavirus relief bill pushed through, because she doesn't want Trump to get the glory from fixing this problem. And her bill is just full with all this pork barrel stuff, and the media is going after her. She's suffering political damage from this, but it's like, she wants to have tax credits for solar panels and $35 million for the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, all of which is nice stuff, but it's got nothing to do with coronavirus or the harm to the economy caused thereby. And so all these little earmarks and riders and all the rest of it, it's this liberal fantasy land that Nancy Pelosi is pushing for. And as Speaker of the House, she can basically, tell the House, we're not going to vote on the bill. And that would stall it right there. And that may be the reason why the stock market started heading back down toward the close, although the Dow ended 482 up. So it's not as high as it was. It was over 1,000 at one point. So everyone's talking about the new coronavirus stimulus bill, $130 billion for hospitals, $150 billion for state and local governments, $350 billion for small businesses. Supposedly checks to ordinary Americans are going to go out right after the 1st of next month. So we'll see what's going to happen with that one. Anyway, got a lot to talk about today. The phone lines are open, 800-313-9443. That's 800-313-9443. And let's get into some news. And yes, we're going to talk a little bit about the coronavirus, and hopefully we will be able to get into some other news there. It's actually, there's so much coronavirus all over the corporate media. It's hard to find news about anything else. Like, refresh my memory. Do we actually have a presidential campaign going on right now? Well, apparently we do, because Joe Biden is insisting that the Democratic National Convention not be canceled due to the coronavirus panic. He wants his moment in the sun. He wants to be on video. He wants to be broadcast into everybody's home. And, to heck with, infecting everybody who shows up at that convention center. So anyway, to basically summarize, early hours of this morning, news broke that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and Minority Leader Chuck Schumer struck a deal to finally push the Wuhan coronavirus relief bill through. This is the one that came from the White House. So on Sunday night, they had nearly gotten there when House Speaker Pelosi flew back into town after a week in California, demanding this far-left and unrelated wish list be included in the bill. So after days of wasted time and additional work and angst for the American people, Pelosi has indicated the House won't vote on the Senate bill today. She's going to stall. She's trying to hold the Congress hostage. Now, this is going to come back to haunt her. It's going to come back to haunt all the Democrats, because it doesn't matter how much they try and grandstand. Even if Pelosi's bill gets adopted at this point, it's not going to do her any political good. Because when we get down to November, everybody's going to be remembering Pelosi held up our relief checks. So Pelosi's out there advocating that Democrats nationalize the medical supply chain. And she's holding this third coronavirus relief bill hostage until she gets what she wants. And she's out there saying that nationalizing the medical supply chain is the only way to get the needed supplies to where they're going to go. Well, I mean, look at how the government has messed up previous things they've taken control of. Remember when they broke up the Bell Telephone Company? Oh, it's a monopoly. We've got to break it up. And they broke it up into the Baby Bells. And remember all that confusion that they had back then? It was a huge, huge mess. Nationalizing the health supply chain would just slow everything down because there'd be another layer of bureaucracy on top of what's there now. What, pardon me, what President Trump is doing is the best option. He's enlisting the corporate titans, if you will, to get involved in making what we need. It's a wartime response. Ford apparently is making ventilator units now. So anyway, Hillary Clinton's out there getting her licks in as well. She's urging people to ignore Trump's guidance. They just ignore him. Don't pay attention to him. Pay no attention to that president in the Oval Office. All right, we're going to do a shout out now to our on-air affiliates who are just now rejoining our network here. So the White House has said that anyone who's recently been to New York should self-quarantine for 14 days. Mayor Bill de Blasio called the city the epicenter of the outbreak. 1 out of every 1,000 residents are infected. And it doesn't sound like much until you realize how many residents there are in New York City, which is a lot. And apparently down in Florida, they're now saying that anybody arriving from New York, New Jersey, and for some reason Connecticut will be quarantined as well. Right now, New York has become the epicenter. Used to be Washington State, now it's New York here. And everybody's now looking at New Orleans because they just got done with Mardi Gras. And for the whole month before was Carnival. And they had almost 2 million people crowding into the city celebrating Carnival, culminating in Mardi Gras at the end of February. And already there's hot spots there, popping up over there. Over in Great Britain, Prince Charles, heir to the British throne, has tested positive for coronavirus, and he's in the age bracket that's at greatest risk. They're saying he's suffering mild symptoms, and he's self-isolating at his home in Scotland with the Duchess of Cornwall, who does not have the illness. So they're saying it's not possible to ascertain from whom the Prince of Wales had caught the virus, but he's continuing to work from home throughout the last few days as usual. All righty, we've got dueling propaganda, if you will. I've been seeing on Fox News all day, they keep rerunning this story saying, well, the COVID-19 virus, it isn't really mutating all that fast, and therefore any vaccine they come up with is going to be effective. And yet we have this other article here saying scientists claim they've found 40 different mutations of COVID-19. I would tend to go with the scientists rather than the politicians here. Now, yesterday, Trump came on out saying that he wants the economic shutdown to be over by Easter, which is just a few weeks away. And yesterday, I expressed my doubt that he could actually pull that off. And apparently, I'm not alone. But he's out there. He says he wants everything to return to normal by April 12th. He wants churches to be packed. And apparently he justifies this by saying we lose thousands of people a year to the flu and we don't turn the country off. And he's right about that. We're sort of numb to flu deaths. But this is something new, and it's not a flu. It's a viral pneumonia. Meanwhile, Pentagon leaders are saying that this actual pandemic could last for months. Now, the whole point of the lockdowns is to slow the spread of the illness so that the medical system doesn't become overwhelmed. Come Easter, if everybody's going back to work and everybody's going back to the shopping malls and everybody's going to the churches and everything, we're going to see a huge, huge spike in infections, more than the hospitals currently can handle. And that's why we should all voluntarily, of our own free will, continue to practice good health practices. You know, stay apart. If you're sick, stay home. Avoid people who appear to be sick. Wash your hands regularly, disinfect surfaces, and so forth and so on. Just keep on doing that so that heaven forbid, if you should become sick, there'll be a hospital bed waiting for you. Okay, so meanwhile, Senator McSally, and I like this idea, by the way, is out there threatening to introduce a bill to withhold senators' pay until Americans are put before politics. Now, the Senate appears to be getting ready to go along with Donald Trump's plan, and the fly in the ointment is Nancy Pelosi as usual. Apparently, there's a new hashtag out there in social media called COVIDiots, which is being applied to anybody who questions the official story about COVID-19 to basically try and shut down debate and shut down questions. And I saw another thing on Fox News earlier today where they're out there, trying to dismiss all these rumors that COVID-19 came from some laboratory somewhere. And they're out there saying, how silly of you to think such a thing could be possible, let alone doable. And of course, you've got the history of biological warfare in North Korea against Cuba, against countries in South America. And again, the protein attachment spikes on COVID-19 appear identical to those on the HIV virus. And we know what you can do with the CRISPR gene splicing tool. So a lot of people are still concerned about what appear to be totalitarian measures dealing with the virus. It does feel a little bit scary out there. Okay, coronavirus healthcare workers need medical gloves, but the world's top producers have cut capacity. And apparently, a lot of this is coming out of Malaysia, which is the world's largest medical glove supplier. They produce 3 out of 4 gloves on the market, 75%. And apparently, they realize that if the supply shortens, the prices will go up. All righty, over on the aircraft carrier USS Theodore Roosevelt, 3 U.S. Navy sailors have tested positive for COVID-19. They will be airlifted off the ship, which hosts 5,000 troops in the Philippine Sea. And these 3 service members are the first coronavirus cases discovered on board a deployed Navy ship. Maybe, I seem to recall hearing that there was a sailor on another ship who tested positive about 2-3 weeks ago. All righty. Now, here's where we're getting a little bit of interesting stuff. The CDC is effectively admitting that the COVID-19 test is flawed. Okay. And this test, which is being used all over the world where it is available, is called the PCR, the polymerase chain reaction, where they actually map out the DNA of the pathogen to identify exactly what it is. And it's supposed to diagnose patients saying, yes, you have the virus, or no, you don't. But in the actual CDC document about the test, it says, quote, positive results are indicative of active infection with 2019 nCoV, but do not rule out bacterial infection or co-infection with other viruses. The agent detected may not be the definite cause of disease. Laboratories within the United States and its territories are required to report all positive results to the appropriate public health authorities. Okay, the key line is the agent detected may not be the definite cause of disease. In other words, we may be getting false positives. Somebody may have the virus, but they're one of those people who don't show symptoms, and the symptoms they're showing are coming from something else. So it's not an accurate test. Now, supposedly, there is a new test that just came out that works within 5 minutes instead of 5 days. They're trying to get that approved and out there as well here. And of course, rumors of martial law are flying, despite the reassurances from, well, the head of the Homeland Security, the head of the National Guard are out there. And they're saying, yes, National Guard units have been activated in more than half the states. They're there, busy distributing food and medical supplies, but there's no martial law coming. Well, not yet, but let's be very honest. If in fact there are food riots, the National Guard will be deployed and martial law will be declared. And if martial law is declared, that could even mean regular army. So Over in Italy, they're thinking of delaying the end of the lockdown all the way to July. And Hong Kong is seeing a resurgence of new coronavirus cases. So this thing has not gone away. Mainland China, of course, insists that they've got it under control and it's plateauing. But somebody apparently went and took a look at cell phone accounts and realized there's a lot of cell phone accounts that are being shut down, meaning the owners are no longer using their phones. Now, maybe they just got tired of the high cell phone costs, or maybe these are people who have passed away and it's being hidden. And that right there is probably one of the biggest reasons the hysteria about COVID-19 has spun so wildly out of control. Everybody's lying. Everybody's fudging the numbers to support whatever agenda they want to support. And it's very, very rough to be living in a world where you can't trust any government to be 100% honest about what's going on here. Over in Los Angeles, there's a bit of a war brewing over the shutdown of non-essential businesses. And apparently the Los Angeles mayor is considering shutting off the water and power for non-essential businesses that refuse to close. That's getting a little bit totalitarian in my mind. So, down in Mexico, quite a contrast to our coronavirus relief bill. Mexico's president has no interest in bailing out big companies and banks. He says the poor must be rescued first. Good choice. Absolute good choice here. Vladimir Putin went to visit COVID-19 patients. They had him done up in a full hazmat suit. And, we've had all these images of Putin on horseback, Putin shirtless, Putin hunting and fishing and swimming, and taekwondo competition, where apparently he's ranked quite high in that. So today we have a picture of him in a hazmat suit. He visited patients receiving treatment for COVID-19 in a Moscow hospital. Now, the other day we were talking about how Harvey Weinstein has tested positive for COVID-19, and he's been removed from Rikers Island prison to who knows where. But apparently they've got a runaway infection there in the prison. And 38 people have been infected with COVID-19. Another 58 people are under observation. They're saying the situation is unimaginably bad. All right, we're going to take a phone call now from Kevin in West Virginia. Aloha, Kevin. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
I had heard that cell phone thing too, and I had heard it was 21 million people from China don't have a cell phone. And that was alarming to me, like you were saying. But like you were saying, these numbers are all fudged. Who knows? And I wanted to respond back to a couple people yesterday because I said I wouldn't follow these. If it does, that I won't follow these draconian rules if they do put them in. It's not that I'm afraid. I just, I'm just going to live my life and not live my life in fear, and especially not live my life in fear from something I can't see, can't touch, can't smell. If there's, and I do believe there's a virus going around. I do believe it was a weaponized thing, but I believe it's a lot of hype to this. And like you said, these Democrats are bringing, I don't know how many videos I could show people where they talk about we're going to crash the economy to get Donald Trump out. So they're seizing on this. I mean, it's utter chaos and it's utter insanity in my book. I don't know why people ain't calling out, you want to crash the stock market to get Donald Trump out because you want to show Americans which way not to vote. I'm sorry, but I kind of feel that's seditious and treasonous. You want to bring the economy down because you don't like President Trump. I mean, who thinks of this stuff?
Backfire on them. This is going to backfire on them because Trump is simply going to say, look, I had the economy going good until the virus showed up. And what are you going to do? Blame Donald Trump for the virus? I mean, the Democrats are trying to do that, but it's not like Donald Trump has a bioweapons lab in the basement of the White House trying to cook up these things that we know.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely that we do know of, absolutely. But I'm not going to live my life in fear. I mean, my parents are older. I'm blind. I'm a 35-year-old. I'm blind, and my parents help me out, and I help my parents out. They're older. They're in their 60s. They're out running around
Kevin,
right now.
Kevin, I got to put you on hold. We got to take a break for commercials, and we'll be right back after these few words.
How would you like to earn an extra $10,000 or more a month from the comfort of your home? We show you how to win with a home-based business opportunity. This could be one of the best financial decisions you ever make. Work from home, full-time or part-time. Plus, you'll never have to talk to anyone. Our professional sales team closes all your sales for you, and you keep 70% of all the sales made. You could be earning money while you're sleeping, shopping, working out, wherever you are, day or night. Our system goes to work for you. You can make a great income without any special computer skills or sales training. Plus, you get paid fast, within just 24 to 48 hours after our professional sales team closes a sale for you. Let us help you eliminate your financial concerns. You could be earning enough money to pay off debt, buy a house, a car, or whatever the case may be. We've got you covered. If you'd like to add an extra $10,000 or more a month to your portfolio, and you would like to know exactly what we're doing and how we're doing it, go now to www.getstartedwithus.com. That's www.getstartedwithus.com. Again, that's www.getstartedwithus.com.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now, but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge 20, 30, 40, 50, if possible, 100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
Welcome to What Really Happened Radio. Visit us online at whatreallyhappened.com. And now, set your eyes on the future and let's consider what really happened.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to our show here. And again, a reminder that Republic Broadcasting needs your help. We're trying to stay on the air. We're trying to get the truth out. We're trying to speak truth to power here. And we do need your help. And first of all, thanks to everybody who's donated. Thanks to everybody who's going to donate. And the postal address where you can send a check, money order, or if you prefer anonymity, cash, is Republic Broadcasting Network, 2251 Double Creek Drive, number 302, Round Rock, Texas, 78664. The phone number where you can make a credit or debit card donation is 800-724-2719, extension 3. The network thanks you. Okay, so we're talking to Kevin in West Virginia, and we're talking, first of all, Kevin, I admire your attitude. I'm going to live my life, and I'm not going to live it in fear. And it's an admirable attitude. And Claire and I, we're not panicking or anything, but I think it should be tempered with a little bit of caution. There is a real virus out there. We're not sure how bad it is, again, because everybody's fudging the numbers and everything, but just some common sense precautions. And in terms of the draconian totalitarian orders that are being handed out, yeah, I can see where it's a very frightening situation where you have places like, well, New Jersey, where if you're caught outside your home and you don't have a good reason, they're going to put you in jail. So what are they going to do? Create a new Rikers Island over in New Jersey, where they've got everybody crowded into the jail, spreading coronavirus to each other? I'm not sure about that. Anyway.
Did you see where they're starting to release a lot of people from the prisons? A lot of these prisons, like rapists and people that with violent crimes, they're letting these
Yeah.
people go. And the other thing that blows my mind on that note is they're talking about businesses of necessity. Why are marijuana dispensaries a necessity, but gun stores aren't?
It's a mystery. It's definitely a mystery.
That blows my mind. That blows my mind. Everybody go get your pot, but don't defend yourself. Like, wow. It's like, shows where our priorities are, don't they?
Well, it shows where the government's priorities are. Keep you stoned, keep you drunk, don't let you get your hands on guns, and there won't be riots in the street. At least that's what they're thinking. But rather pointedly, they're letting all these prisoners go from prison. Police departments are being shut down. There's a lot of police who are sick with this virus here, but chaos has not broken out. Even in the areas where they've openly admitted we're not arresting people for minor crimes. And apparently the criminals are staying home and self-isolating along with the rest of us.
Sure. And like you said, be smart. Yeah, I'm going to be smart. I'm not going to, run around and go everywhere and anywhere that I can. I'm going to be smart, but I'm not going to live in fear. I'm not going to do it.
Good for you.
That's time. But
Good
that's
for
all
you.
I have to say for you, Mr.
All right. Well, thanks an awful lot for the phone call. We're going to switch to Don in Arizona. And Don, I'm probably going to take you through the next commercial break. What's on your mind?
Yes, Mike, the coronavirus deal. I'm a Army Reserve or National Guard retiree. I got a email that they're going to try to have a voluntary callback of retirees to work on this virus, especially if they have some specialties in medical specialties, critical care nurse practitioners, or medic, or even. But they also will listen to somebody else if they want to help out. So that's a good deal because there's a lot of guys like me that if I really, I was a cook. I was a food service specialist. They're not going to need me, but there's probably a lot of people sitting around, and they will. They're going to have to pay them, so they'll probably go ahead and volunteer for this too and help out whatever kind of deal they got, because they are using the Army to build, I guess, to refurbish the Javits Center and make it into a hospital in New York City and stuff like this. But Ron Paul, I tend to side with the people that say, hey, let's not shut anything down more than necessary. Ron Paul says that sunshine is very, very good for the immune system. He's a doctor.
Yes.
Smart guy. Sweden is a place where they're not closing down the bars and restaurants. They say you can't have more than 500 people gathering. That's a big far cry from 50 people. So the whole thing is, man is a social animal, and they're not going. People will start to freak out completely. Even me. I go out and do stuff, but we have to interact with people. That you can't just bottle up. Maybe if you have a wife or a dog or something like that, or you're okay. But people will start to freak out, and they'll say, that they won't be able to handle it. Just from a psychological standpoint of this isolation. Yes. Not to mention that the economy is not going to make it. That means every country is going into debt, even more, because they're not. They're going to have to pay everybody off at the end because their restaurant was closed and all this stuff. That's all I have, Mike. But I just basically I wanted to say that I believe I'm with Trump to let's get it back in working. Bye.
Yeah, I am too. But, again, it's the rock and the hard place. And I don't envy Trump's job right now. We got to take a break for commercials. We'll be right back.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Homeowners, are you in foreclosure, expecting to be served with a foreclosure lawsuit, or suspect your lender has coerced you into an illegal mortgage transaction? A huge number of mortgages made in the last 10 years have legal issues and are possibly defective. State laws and the U.S. Supreme Court have upheld that defective mortgage documents are grounds for foreclosure defense and for counterclaims in favor of the homeowner. If your mortgage has been sold or assigned since closing the loan, it may be defective and you may be paying the wrong party, and the lender may not have standing or the right to foreclose or collect payments under the law. If you would like to know if your mortgage is legal or not, or know if you are paying the right party, we can help. Our initial consultations are free of charge. We are not attorneys. We are legal researchers and work closely with experienced lawyers who know how to help you find the evidence to help you keep your home. Call toll free 1-855-2-KEEP-IT. That's 1-855-2-KEEP-IT today.
Hey, honey, I'm home. I grabbed the newspaper on the way home. Look at all the news today.
The newspaper? Don't you know that all you're going to get in the newspaper is propaganda, twisted news, and false information?
Honey, this is a national newspaper. It has to be true.
Ha! For some reason, a majority of the population believe anything the mainstream media tells them. The newspaper does not give out the important attention on what's happening to this country and news that affects our daily lives. Say, does that newspaper mention anything about the North American Union?
No, not that I can see.
I didn't think so. You need to go to www.newswithviews.com, where truth is more important than political correctness. That's www.newswithviews.com. Hey, don't throw that away. We can use that in the birdcage.
Okay, move over. Let me start reading newswithviews.com.
The truth? Read all about it at newswithviews.com. Newswithviews.com, where reality shatters illusion.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. September 2018. Extendivite works in keeping my blood pressure in the normal range. I've been using Extendivite for many years now. May 2018. Great product. I use regularly and I rarely get sick. March 2018. This product has relieved what appeared to be angina pain in my chest and shortness of breath after climbing stairs. I'm quite happy about it. February 2018. My husband, son, and I have been using this product for a few months now, and we have noticed an improvement in our joints and blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Some have maxed out all their credit cards, and 2 jobs and living in cars. Minimum wage won't pay for a roof, won't pay for a drink. If you gotta have proof, just try it yourself, Mr. CEO. See how far 5.15 an hour will go. Take a part-time job at one of your stores. I bet you can't make it here anymore.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to the show here. And boy, I feel sorry for the people in China right now. I mean, they're dealing with all of this COVID-19, and apparently around Wuhan, there's been a resurgence of new cases. And it's almost starting to look like COVID-19 is a lot like herpes. Once you get it, you've got it for life. And every once in a while, it's going to pop back up again. But now on top of that, in a scene right out of the movie Contagion, they had somebody who died on a bus. They got on the bus, sat down. When the bus got to its destination, they were found to be dead, and they tested him, found hantavirus. And so now they're starting to test people for hantavirus over there, and it's another very nasty virus. It does look like somebody has initiated a biowarfare campaign against China. Okay, getting on to the economic news. As I mentioned, the stock market had a very good day for the most part. A little bit of a dip toward the end. The Dow closed at 495.64. And you've got all these small businesses. They're struggling. And you know, everybody lives on their lines of credit. And customers aren't coming in. Most small businesses cannot survive a single month with no revenues coming through that front door. So when that front door is closed, they're already in trouble. And I don't think this little bit of a bailout that's coming from the federal government is going to save most of them. So we're going to see a lot of small businesses shut down. And remember, small businesses are responsible for most new job creation. Yeah, the big corporations employ thousands of people, but there's only a few big corporations. Most commerce is conducted by small businesses here. Okay, we're going to take a phone call from Sebastian in Sweden. Aloha, Sebastian. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yes, hello, Mike.
There you are.
Hello.
You're on the air.
Okay. Yeah, this corona in Sweden, it's like a lot of people criticize the Statsminister Löfven before, not going from 500 to 50. And also not closing the schools in Sweden, the elementary schools and the primary and the high schools. But it's all politics. When he gave his last press conference, he had the Swedish flag behind him, and he was wearing a Swedish flag lapel, like a pin.
Yeah.
And he's never done that on any press conference. He usually has the EU flag behind him, but you couldn't see the EU flag at all. The common market flag. So. And now he's taken in the last poll, he's taken votes from the SD just because of that one thing he got up with the Swedish flag behind him and, the little pale pin. So it's basically politics, but a lot of people are taking it seriously. Like I have a place in the small town close to where I live, and you can go and buy a pretty cheap meal there and take it away. It's just for retired people. And
Yes.
when I went in the other day, you couldn't serve yourself. The people from the kitchen had to ask you what did you want, so you couldn't touch anything, which I thought was pretty good because it's an old people's home. It's a retirement home, and if they get it, they'll basically wipe out the whole home. So people are taking it serious in that respect, and so far Sweden has just a bit over 2,000 now. 2,526, 227 new today. But the other countries in Europe, like Italy and Spain, and I knew Italy was going to go ahead in the death toll of China because it's the way the Italian people are. They are outgoing and they are.
Yes.
It's just. I don't know. I've been there several times, and you get for change, you get candy and toll road pallets. These little tokens for the Autostrasse in change. And I said, "Well, I only have a car with me. What am I going to do with this?" So it's just they've always been like that, the Italians, and then they have this thing about family. They want to see their mother or their grandmother if she's sick. You know what I mean? So you can't stop that. It's a type of people, and also it's pretty high in Spain now, and
yes, it is. In fact,
France.
Spain is now pulled ahead of Italy.
Has Spain pulled ahead of Italy?
Yes.
Oh, I haven't seen the latest, but I know Germany's keeping their death toll down pretty good. So I think still the medical facilities in Germany are better than most countries in Europe. And
yes.
This is a good thing too, this corona, because it's going to show what the EU really does for the people of Europe when it comes to this. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They just open their borders, they let it go through, and it's going to be you're going to see more Brexit, I think, in Europe after this, which is a good thing.
Well, Italy was shaping up to be the next one to leave after Great Britain, and obviously Brussels is very unhappy about that. But a lot of those EU countries have already shut their borders, and they're instituting checks, thermometers, thermal scanning to see if people have got fevers when they're coming across the border.
Yeah, well, that's good. And I think I heard it from your program last night or a couple of days ago. Wasn't it? You said something about O-type, blood type O is less susceptible to corona than A and AB, etc.
Well, it's
or maybe I heard it someone else.
No, you heard it on this program. O is the least severe situation. B and AB are sort of in the middle, and blood type A is most susceptible to COVID-19, which is a bummer because I'm.
Yeah, so am I. I was just thinking, wow, I wonder, I got A. Okay, well, you take care, Mike, and say tell everyone I said hello. Take
Okay,
care
well,
of yourself. And
thank you very much for the phone call and for the information. And we're going to switch over to Dustin in New Jersey. Aloha, Dustin. Welcome back to the show. What's on your mind? Dustin, are you there? Okay, I'm not hearing. There you are.
Mike?
You're on the air.
They just switched over. Mike, just for future, I know you're still twiggling the new servers on YouTube. At least, like the audio is not balanced, so sometimes it's louder, sometimes it's lower. Maybe you guys can work on that for tomorrow's show.
We'll put it on the list.
Okay, he just said it. Oh, this show's open borders are no good. But again, that's what I've been saying about this virus. You let everybody go back, open up the floodgates per se, in Easter, and all the churches fill up. What do you think's going to happen?
There's going to be a surge in new cases.
Exactly. It'll overwhelm the system. That's why they keep saying, I said it yesterday and the day before, flatten the curve, flatten the curve. And even the economy's already hurt people, okay? So you don't need to go out, stay home, because this is going to continue for quite a while until they flatten the curve. And in the meantime, they can make masks and gloves and then slowly bring the economy back, right? You just can't go from, like what Trump says, he's a wartime president. Well, wartime presidents got to make those decisions where you got to think before you do. You just don't open the gates. That's nuts. It's like flooding the refugees into a country. You'll flood more people infected. I mean, I live next to a town, Mike. I'm going to remain unnamed, who has a large Hasidic community here in New Jersey. And they just had to go in yesterday again and make arrests because of wedding parties and large gatherings. People just don't get it. Like, what do you think's going to happen when they travel to other parts and this or that? It's going to spread, And that's why I know I want to respond to Tom. I think Trump doing a good thing with closing flights to China. I didn't have a problem with that. But closing the front door is one thing. Not closing the windows and the rear door in a zombie outbreak isn't good. He didn't close them in Italy for a while. Spain, all these other countries, people fly in. It's a global travel system. You fly in, you land at the domestic airports, and they travel to different states. That's why I think they should do a nationwide crackdown, lockdown. I'm sorry, but I mean, you can't have telling one county you can't say counties do what you want, right? I mean, like in Florida, one county does one thing, another doesn't do, but people travel back and forth, right?
Well, the governor of Florida is starting to basically corral all of the counties together there. And I think the reason why Donald Trump is setting April 12th as a deadline to get people back to work is I think much past that, the economy is not going to be able to recover at all.
Yeah. I don't think it's recoverable now anyway. That's why they're doing this stimulus package, and they said they got 3 or 4 more ahead of that. I really don't think he's going to say Easter, everybody back to work and go to the churches. That's just, Mike, if you go to the churches, people, and pack them in, oh, Mike, that's just a petri dish, like Donald being in an airplane, I mean.
Well, Claire's Church canceled services and they're canceling Easter. They're doing everything virtually online, where, Claire sits at home on Sunday morning and she gets up the web browser and she watches the show from here at home.
Now, Mike, if Italy and China and Spain just said everybody back to work, what do you think would happen? You know what? That's your outlook, people. I mean, it'd be bad here. Okay? Like I said, if they do it slowly and get people back to work in certain sectors with masks and gloves, that's one thing. But you just can't make a blatant thing. Everybody, you know what I mean, Mike? You just can't say you won't stop the infection.
It'll overwhelm the hospital system.
Yeah, exactly. And which will hurt the economy anyway. The economy is already damaged. I mean, that's the fact. They're doing they got the stimulus kind of through, right? And they got more on back order. So, I mean, that's it. it's just, I think it's already done. Do it slowly, not suddenly, and that's all, that's all I got to say. It's like, and I know, Kevin, you want to live your life, but you like he said, he said it, you got to be smart, because you don't want to spread it to other people and not only get yourself sick, but other people, because you don't know how your immune system's going to react to this. You could be healthy with one thing, but for something else, you won't. Remember, you're breathing this in your lungs. It's going to go inside your lungs, and once that happens, that's it. Your body can either take care of it or not take care of it. I don't want to scare people, but I mean, Mike, I'm still reading people thinking this is a hoax. It's not. It's just not a hoax. People, there's people taking advantage of it, but
yes,
this is like SARS and MERS. People, was the Spanish flu and polio a hoax, and stuff like that? No, they weren't. So why are people calling this a hoax? And that's all I'm going to leave you with, Mike.
They
have a
don't
good
trust
night.
the government. We've been lied to so many times, and I mentioned this before. I mean, the government's got a credibility problem of its own making, and people don't trust what the government is saying about anything. And we remember how the 2009 when pigs fly flu scare turned out to be a hoax. Less people got sick than from the normal seasonal flu, and Roche Pharmaceuticals made a huge amount of money from Tamiflu, which turned out to not be effective at all, less effective than acetaminophen. Anyway, speaking of virtual churches here, funny story came through the website, I think it was yesterday, where this Catholic priest was doing a virtual service over the internet, but he left the filters turned on his webcam, and so he did the entire service with his Star Wars helmet on his head. Anything else, Dustin? I think we lost Dustin. Let's switch over to James in Charlotte. Aloha, James. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yes, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
It's been kind of hit or miss, my tuning into your show lately, and so I may have missed some of what you may have gone into as far as the possible biowarfare origins of the COVID-19, but I did a little bit of research, and it didn't take me long to find some very strong links between some research institutions here in the United States and in Wuhan, China, as far as... Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Oh, okay, good. Well, what I was going to do, let me just read you something, just one line here. This is from this is the very first line of the summary of a research study that was conducted in 5 years ago by the Biowarfare Laboratory at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and was subsidized by the CDC.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what it says. The emergence of severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus and Middle East respiratory syndrome underscores the threat of cross-species transmission events leading to outbreaks in humans.
Yes.
Now, this particular laboratory at the University of North Carolina has very close links with the laboratory in Wuhan, China. I forget the exact full name of that. It's part of the China Science Administration. But there were a number of doctors, and they've got their names listed here. There are about half a dozen or more Chinese doctors and technicians that worked on this research study at UNC in Chapel Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And a gentleman, a researcher, a very high-level expert who was been a consultant to a number of government agencies and international agencies, Francis Boyle, did some tracing of this, and you might be able to get him on your show, but he's done some interviews, several interviews that I listened to, and he's found that live samples of virus that is virtually identical to COVID-19 was purchased from UNC by the laboratory in Wuhan, China.
Yeah, I read that. I read that. I mean, everybody's messing around with this stuff. Now, the official story is that COVID-19 did begin with bats, and there was an incident involving bats that drew blood in Wuhan. But again, there are other indicators that suggest that this is being weaponized. Anyway, listen, James, got to let you go. Got to take another break for commercials. Got more callers waiting on the line, and we will be right back.
Broadcasting Network late night premiere show of Red Pill Hardcore is hosted by activists that want to hear from you, the listeners. So that you can get involved in the activism, please call in at 800-313-9443 at 10 p.m. to enter the discussion. To book your slot as a guest, call our studio at 202-657-5715 or contact RBN staff. Remember, keep it real and take the Red Pill.
Talk Right, the conservative app offered by TalkStream Live that caters exclusively to the conservative talk radio community. Here you'll see only talk shows and podcasts from the conservative right, all the big broadcast names and online digital shows in one place. Talk Right makes it easy to find all your favorite conservative talkers with all the upscale features you come to expect from TalkStream Live. Keep up with the fast-paced political world. Download Talk Right today from Google Play or the App Store.
Tired of being lied to by mass media? It's growing more and more apparent today that news is received less and less through standard media outlets. Even with a growing audience every day, RBN is beginning to direct more efforts into social media. Social media and the use of the internet is fast becoming the primary source of people for news, regardless of demographic. RBN has set out to provide some of the best news on the internet through republicbroadcasting.org and also has begun to use the tools to our advantage by way of social media. Republic Broadcasting is now operating a Facebook page to function as yet another avenue to have our collective voice reach new audiences across not only America, but across the globe as well. The Facebook page features not only news, but also an RBN player to listen to our broadcasts. Get involved by visiting facebook.com/Republic Broadcasting and liking our page and share it with your friends and family, because you can handle the truth.
Many people write us about their experience with Extendivite. Allow me to read you some from Amazon.com. It really does work like the review says it does. I cannot believe that after the first few days, I didn't feel as sluggish or clogged up. It has had a profound impact on my physical, emotional well-being. I'm skeptical as most people about products and their claims, and I never write reviews, but this is a wonderful product and I recommend it to everyone. Great product. It has brought my blood pressure from the mid-150s over the 80s to the mid-130s over mid-80s, along with diet and exercise in just the past couple of months. Excellent. Thank you, David. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. Call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
What this country is coming to, I sure would like to know. If they don't do something by and by, the rich will live and the poor will die. Doggone, I mean the panic is on. Can't get no way, can't draw no pay.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to the show. We got 3 callers waiting on the line. I'm going to try and get through them as quickly as possible and get back to some news here. So let's start with Dan in Washington State. Aloha, Dan. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mike. Thanks for taking the call. I called about the loan program, but real quick, Dustin's call gave me another concern about the Hasidic community. They're going to have to change the way they circumcise children. You know, with that oral suction method they use.
Yes.
I wonder if there's going to be a whole generation of kids that can't get circumcised now. It's horrible. Just kidding. It's supposed to be a joke, but serious though. I mean, you wouldn't want that to happen.
Well, there have
anyway,
been,
the loan.
unfortunately, there have been a couple of very nasty incidents where the rabbis turned out to be carrying like herpes or some other sexually transmitted disease, and they gave it to these.
Yeah, I've heard about that. It's pretty. It's a weird tradition there, but I'm not going to judge. So anyway, about the home loan program, the loan program to help businesses. Just an example of me. I own one house and I rented it out, and I don't own it. I'm still paying it off, but I decided I had a feeling things were going to go to crap a while ago. So I'm living basically in a semi truck, and then I just stay with family. So, but Portland passed a deal where you can't kick someone out, or they're talking about it.
Yes.
You can't kick renters out for like 6 months. Now I could get seriously screwed because I'm going to be paying on my mortgage and property tax, and and they're going to be living in my house for free. Okay, but then, and that's similar to small businesses. But then if they send me a letter saying they can't pay me, and I could turn around and take that letter to the bank and say, I'm not going to make my payment because of this situation, and they delayed my mortgage payment and maybe even cut my property tax. I don't expect that, but I think that would be a better way to go. That would help me. I mean, if they don't pay me and I don't have to pay the mortgage for a few months, I think that way is a better approach for small. What's that?
I said that would definitely be the fair thing to do, and I have heard conversations where they talk both about you can't evict for non-payment of rent and you can't foreclose for non-payment of the mortgage, and the two have to go hand in hand. Unfortunately, Chase has already announced that they're not going to cut any slack for their mortgage customers. You miss enough payments, they'll take your property.
Yeah, and that really screws me. And they're coming up with some loan program, and they say, well, it's interest free, but that's kind of like they're trying to, you still got to go out and get some loan to dig you out of the hole and pay it back, and it's kind of not really helping people as much. And I would hate to have a small business where you lose all your business. Then it's like, oh, we'll take out a loan versus working something out where they just delay payments, I would think. Anyway,
yeah.
My opinion. All right, thanks for taking the call.
All right, you got it. We got to take a break for station identification. We'll be back with more phone calls after these few words.
Homeowners, if your lender has gone out of business or sold your transaction to another lender or servicer, you may be the victim of a wrongful foreclosure resulting in the loss of your home. If you've already lost your home, are in foreclosure, or even in good standing, you can challenge the mortgage transaction's illegal issue and your property can be restored to you, and your foreclosure can be stopped or reversed and the mortgage transaction declared unenforceable. State laws, U.S. title codes, the Uniform Commercial Codes, and U.S. Supreme Court rulings have upheld that defective mortgage documentations can reverse or stop foreclosures and enforce property title claims in favor of the homeowner. We are having successes in stopping the process of foreclosure, the enforcement of the foreclosure judgments, the sale of property, and evictions after the sale. We are not attorneys, and we don't give legal advice. We are a professional team of legal researchers, providing forensic mortgage audits and expert witnesses. We have the knowledge to produce the evidence and enforce laws regarding your legal issues. We've been in business for 12 years without a complaint. Consultations are free, and we provide a free title search to confirm if your mortgage has legal defects. Please call 855-253-3748. 855, 2, keep it today.
This is RBN, the Republic Broadcasting Network. What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero. The history the government hopes you never learn. Here is your host, Michael Rivero.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to the show. We're going to go back to the phones here to Kelly in Austin. Kelly, thank you for waiting so patiently. What's on your mind today? Kelly, are you there? Okay, I don't hear Kelly, so let's go to Laura in Michigan. Aloha, Laura. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind? Hello? Is anybody there?
100% of the people who eat carrots eventually die. Okay? You get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Seriously. And also, we just found out, we're in Michigan with boats all over the place. The DNR just announced you only have 2 people on a boat. I mean, totally ridiculous. So if you got, if you have a charter boat or anything, that means your business can't run with 2 people. And even the pleasure boat, like my son has a boat, 40-foot boat. He got a wife, takes his wife and kids on there. Only 2 people to a boat. Come on, you're out in the middle of the water. What's that going to do? That just tells you these rules are totally ridiculous.
Well, it's a rule that was written up by somebody who's never actually sailed a boat.
Right. Oh yeah, we got this damn Democrat governor, and she's just crazy. Number one, she shut down all the gun stores.
Yes.
And there's the next thing that's going to happen. Now they're going to say the police can't come to calls, property calls. So there you are. You're not supposed to have a gun, Of course, most people in Michigan, she doesn't realize this state was a big hunting state. Everybody probably has 5 or 6 guns in their house, except the liberals. So the rest of us are all going to be just fine.
Well, I hope it doesn't come to that, obviously. But, out in Los Angeles, the LA County Sheriff is closing all the gun retailers, saying they're not an essential function. Here in Indiana, the essential functions list is actually quite generous. I mean, even photography supply stores are considered essential businesses.
Right. Well, I just think that you're not going to stand by and watch somebody steal your car,
No, I'm certainly not.
Because you can't call in the property call or whatever. I mean, this is just going to be total chaos. This is what they're causing, total chaos.
That is not happening.
And what do they want? Out of order, out of chaos is order.
Well, that's Nietzsche, but the chaos isn't happening. This is not turning into the purge, because apparently the criminals are self-isolating at home as well. They don't want to get sick.
Well, I don't know if criminals really care about that. I don't think they think that way. I just really don't.
Well, you're
Criminals
probably
are afraid
a little bit surprised at the next piece of information, but there was a study done by Mensa which found out that your average criminal has a higher intelligence than your average non-criminal.
Well, I can't believe it. I mean, look at the hackers, how they figure out how to hack your accounts and all that. You can't be a dummy and do that, right?
Correct.
Yes. I feel like we're an occupied people. It's just like in the war. France was occupied by Germany, or whoever was occupied. That's how I feel now. We're occupied people.
Well, Trump says it is a war, and he's a wartime
lost all the
president.
rights.
Okay, well, Laura, thanks an awful lot for the phone call. Now we're going to try Kelly in Austin. Kelly, are you there?
Hi there, Mike.
Kelly in Austin.
Can you hear me this time?
I can hear you now. You're on the air.
Okay. Mike, I think the LA County attorney overrode the sheriff's decision on that, and he said that the gun stores were in fact an essential business based upon some directive from the governor's office, which is good news.
That is good
When I called
news.
you Monday, when I called you Monday, I mentioned that New Orleans is a hot spot for coronavirus in New Orleans. And what I didn't point out was that if you look at a map of Louisiana and you follow I-10, now I-10 runs from New Orleans through Baton Rouge, through Lafayette, which is my hometown, on west into Lake Charles. Every one of those cities has a major Mardi Gras carnival celebration. They're not as large as New Orleans. New Orleans are drawing more than 2 million people, but you'll have hundreds of thousands of people from out of state pour into Lafayette, Baton Rouge, and all those other cities. And then, of course, they get infected and they spread back out across the country. And so I wouldn't be surprised to find that the coronavirus, if it is as bad as they're saying it is, epidemiologists say it is, will really take root in Louisiana and cause havoc there. I hate to think about that. I have still have family there, 2 sisters with their families.
Yeah.
It's not over by a long shot in Louisiana, and I think that Louisiana could really be a very bad area for a coronavirus infestation or infection in the United States. Let's hope it doesn't get that way.
Well, any urban center is going to be a hot spot because people are packed in tight. They're using public transportation.
Well, certainly they were. If you've ever been to Mardi Gras in New Orleans, as I have many times, and in Lafayette many times, people are packed on the street or shoulder to shoulder.
Yes.
All day. This goes on day and night, day after day after day after day. So you know darn well it's a perfect breeding ground for the transmission of any kind of disease like that, a virus or any type of bacterial infection. The perfect breeding ground for that.
Absolutely. I've never been to Mardi Gras, but I have been to New Orleans in the French Quarter back when I worked on a riverboat.
A lot of fun. Anyway, so we're not out of the woods by a long shot, and I'm watching my home state very carefully to see what happens. I hope that things don't get as bad as I think that they could. But knowing the state as I do, I wouldn't be surprised if it does become the second or the hardest hit state long term out of the 50.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the phone call and for the information update. We're going to do a quick shout out to our on-air affiliates who are rejoining the network. Back to the phones to Andy in Texas. Aloha, Andy. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mike. Well, first off, I want people to do me a favor. I want them to research what a virus is and how it's spread. And I want to give them an idea of who can give them some insight on that. This is Dr. Andrew Kaufman. He has done several researches on viruses, him and an entire clinic of different doctors. And the way they're saying this thing spreads is impossible. So it's either not a virus or they're just feeding us a line of BS. But having said that, I want everybody to look at this adjustment package, this 2.5 trillion up to 6 trillion, whatever they're going to do here. I want them to look at where's this money going. So Ford Motor Company is going into making respirators. We've got all these different businesses transferred. I mean, even the printer people, HP is doing that virtual printing, making respirators and masks and stuff. And I mean, we got to look at where this money's going. My personal opinion is this is an adjustment. And I really think they're using the statistics of the actual flu virus, which kills between 20,000 and 40,000. It's already killed between that already since October. And this thing has killed worldwide 40,000 people. Worldwide, 8 million people. Let's just go 7 billion people. It's killed 40,000 people, and we shut the entire world down. Everybody is in lockdown, and it's getting worse every day. I'm from Texas, but I'm working in California right now, and this Governor Newsom, people totally devoided his order to not social distance, 6 feet, whatever. This weekend, everybody went to the beach. They went hiking and all this stuff. So what's this guy do? He comes on and says, screw it. We're closing the beaches and we're closing the paths and stuff to go up in the mountains and stuff. And so, if we avoid the law and go and do something else tomorrow, he's going to shut that down too. He's already said that if you open your business and we told you to close, we're going to shut your water and your electricity off and revoke your license. I mean, so what is either this is not a virus because it doesn't spread the way these people are telling us it spreads. And I'm telling you, people
Well, how do you know
go
that?
talk to or go listen.
How do you know that? I mean, that seems to be an
Well,
unsupported
I'm telling
statement.
you. No, I'm telling you. Look up Andrew Kaufman. Okay, he's a very good virologist, and he's an MD, and he has an entire store of different MDs that he works with and stuff, and he even puts references in his videos. A good video is go to Richie from Boston. He had this guy on, and this guy totally explained the way that viruses move. I don't believe if this is something, and I'm not saying it's not because people are dying, but I'm saying if it is something, I don't think it's a virus because viruses.
Well, what do you think it is?
I've done a ton of. I have no idea what it is. I actually think it's hysteria. That's the virus. They've got us all uproared on the TV, and they actually believe, we believe that TV. And a lot of people are actually, where are we getting all of our statistics from? We're getting our statistics from the TV because we don't have reporters. You don't have reporters over in Wuhan. You don't have reporters in England or Italy or whatnot. We're getting our information from a controlled information area.
Okay, Andy.
What they're doing, though. I mean, Indiana
I want to cut in.
Indiana is being shut down.
Andy, I want to cut in on you here a little bit. Okay, first of all, you made the statement before that 40,000 people have died from COVID-19. Actually, the number is only 20,857. So we need to strive for a little bit more accuracy.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, I Googled it just before I got on, and they said 40,000 worldwide have died. I'm sorry. So maybe Google's off the mark or whatnot. But here in the United States, how many have died? What, 300?
Unreliable data. Everybody's working with unreliable data. Okay, so your thesis is that whatever is causing all these deaths is not a virus. Okay, but you don't know what it is if it is not a virus.
Well, okay, but I do have a speculation because I actually do believe people do die from viruses. And we know that most of the people that have died have underlying health conditions. And a lot of them are elderly people that we're going to possibly die or not. I also believe that perhaps they're taking any death and, putting it on to the statistic of coronavirus. Look at what's going on besides the coronavirus right now, okay? We shut an entire world down pretty much. And since when do we rely on Iran for legitimate news out of their station about how many people are dying there? Who's seen any of these bodies? You know, there's people on YouTube and whatnot that have researched the hell out of these. They're trying to find obituaries. They're trying to find funeral processions. They're trying to find stuff for all these different victims that have died. And they're coming up to a big fat zero. There's
Okay,
gotta be
so
something
Andy,
going on. They're not even showing us funeral.
Andy, if I understand you, you're saying that there is no coronavirus, that something else is going on, that people are dying of hysterical fear.
Well, I don't think they're dying of hysterical fear. I think the virus in itself is hysteria. People are saying that these people are dying from coronavirus, and holy crap, we're not making no big deal out of the 40,000 people that died this year since October from the flu virus. And we've got, 400 people that died in America today from coronavirus? And we're so scared of that? I don't understand. I don't understand. The hysteria is the virus.
Well, hysteria is not a virus. It's a psychological condition. And, viruses and bacteria are bacteria, and toxic chemicals are toxic chemicals. So the fact of the matter is people are getting very sick out there. People are dying out there. We're being told it is a virus. We know that viruses are very common, including the one that produces the flu. We know that viruses mutate. There are 40 different strains of COVID-19 right now. We know that the flu virus mutates every year. That's why you have to have a new flu shot every year, which sometimes misses the mark and protects you against the wrong strain. Anyway, Andy, thanks an awful lot for the information. We're going to let you go. I'm trying to rush and get back to some news here. Steve in West Virginia. Aloha, Steve. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hi, Mike. I agree with your last caller in a lot of ways. I got to tell you that you got Jason Goodman, who's walking around New York interviewing all the ambulance drivers, hospital workers. There's no patients going into the hospital for COVID-19. They don't have no big thing. I also want to tell you that Amazing Polly has done some amazing work researching how all these people, Dr. Bricks, the female doctor standing next to Trump, and Anthony Fauci, are both tied in with Bill Gates and are both tied into the Event 201 that I've not heard too many people talk about, where they ran drills months ago for a pandemic outbreak. So you know yourself, Mike, from being involved with 9/11 and Oklahoma City, they always run these drills before they go, and then they go live on the drills. And I believe this whole thing is a scam. I'm in West Virginia, as you know. I've been at the VA hospital twice in the last week to get some stitches removed. I don't see anybody wearing gloves, mask. I don't see anybody sick. I haven't talked to or met anybody sick or knows anybody sick out here. I think it's a scam, Mike. I'll tell you what I really think. I think they want to keep it going enough to bring down the economy. I mean, totally bring it down.
Trying to bring down the economy. They're not trying to bring down the economy, but definitely they're using, they're going to blame the virus for the economic crash.
Yes, yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. But it's not that's not what caused the economic. This whole time they had been injecting money into the repo market, and it just didn't work. And I think they set this thing off on purpose. I don't think it was accidentally released, and I think it was done to provide cover. And these people, I mean, Mike, I don't know when this stuff is going to stop, man. I mean, this could go on and on and on. These people that are at the top, whether it be their aides, their sycophants, whatever you want to call them, we just keep getting lousy, evil, dishonest, corrupt people, and that's what we keep getting. And I'm almost hoping that something happens with Russia, where Russia steps in and fires a missile at us or something, because these people that we have right now in the United States can't seem to be stopped. That's all I got for you, Mike. And please tell your listeners to watch Amazing Polly and Jason Goodman. I mean, he does these walks every day. You can see that he's asking the cops questions. He's asking the workers. He's asking all these people questions. You can see that there's not a lot of sick people. It's really evident.
I
That's it, Mike.
would be cautious about that one. Okay, we're going to switch over to Fred in Iowa. Aloha, Fred. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Do you know what the hell normalcy bias is?
Yes.
It's when people can't contemplate in their mind that anything could happen so bad. So they're so goddamn cowardly, scared, afraid that they won't face facts. These last two callers, my God, can't you listen to them? You're parroting. The government would give you $1 million for what you're doing to this damn economy. Jesus Christ, Mike, can't you wake up? You're doing harm.
I disagree. I'm trying to keep everything calm and level-headed.
On the air anymore. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Fred. And we're going to switch over to Steve in Washington. Steve, I'm going to have to take you through the next commercial break. What's on your mind?
Yes, listen, I have to agree with the last three callers. I've done a lot of research. I don't sit on my butt and just make up stuff. Okay, first off, virology is not a perfected science, never has been. Most of what you think you know about virology is not true. All you have to do is do the research and look for the doctors that got blackballed for opening their mouths about it. Also, they're fudging the numbers, even if there is a so-called virus. Okay, so assume that the virology is correct. Numbers of dying people in Italy.
Steve, I got to put you on hold. Steve, I got to put you on hold. Stay on the line. We'll be right back after these words.
Don't regret growing old. It's a privilege denied to many. Heart disease is taking our youth from us. Young people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond are dying needlessly. One of the hardest messages I've ever had to deliver is to convince people that something natural like Extendivite should be taken as a preventative measure. I'm sure you heard an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Extendivite is that ounce. Take Extendivite for 1 year and see what your doctor has to say and how much better you feel. Herbs take time to address the problem. It took years of life to have a problem. Give Extendivite 1 year to fix the problem. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com or visit us on Amazon.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now, but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge 20, 30, 40, 50, if possible, 100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
If you got the money, honey, we got the bombs. We'll plant them anywhere you like and blow up anyone. Whip this world into a frenzy, killing babies, dads, and moms. If you got the money, honey, we got the bombs. If you got the money, well, we won't say we did.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to our show here. We're going to go right back to Steve in Washington. And Steve, just pick up where you left off.
Yeah, like I was saying, everything you think you know from the mainstream textbooks, so on and so forth, concerning viral is in question. And that is a fact. Like I say, the doctors that have studied this, that open their mouths, they're blackballed. You don't get to hear from them. You got to search it out. Also, the testing that we've been using, PCR test is the most common. There's one other test that is molecular. They're both flawed. It didn't take me 5 minutes to go and study this to see from government papers, from the CDC papers, less than 80% effective as far as testing goes. So
It's
all your
obvious
numbers are wrong.
It's obvious you didn't listen to the first half of the show because we talked about the CDC
I heard
paper.
that. I heard it. I'm not saying anything about it. I heard that part, but the point is, it's factual. It comes from the people that are telling you the bullshit. Anyhow, I have to agree. Your analytical abilities seem to be very flawed, or you don't take the time to do it. You're just parroting the same crap. If anyone does research, check out Sherry Tenpenny. She can show you that this present so-called COVID-19 is no worse. Matter of fact, extremely less worse than the 2009 virus H1N1 and the swine flu. And she's got this Sherry Tenpenny.
I acknowledge back in 2009, The media whipped it up. It was going to be a slate wiper. National Geographic.
I heard you.
Yeah. Okay.
You're right. I agree. Okay. I'm not jumping all over you, but you have to understand that most of what they're telling you about viral is not correct. There may be no viral at all. It might be all bacterial. And that is a fact. Just do
Now,
some
there are
research. Just because
viruses. There are viruses. Flu is a virus, for example. Okay.
No, I'm telling you that that's in question. That's what I'm trying to tell you, that you can't seem to get through your head just because you've heard it parroted over and over. If you just read the original papers of Pasteur and Pascal, you will find that they, on their deathbed, were saying that they screwed up. They made up bullshit. Anyhow, it's
Viruses were unknown in Pasteur's time. Okay.
read the papers from them, and you will find that
And thank you very much for the phone call.
Pasteur,
Thank you very
you're
much.
flawed, buddy.
Okay, we're going to let you go here. We're going to go to Dan in Washington State. This is your second call. Do you have something to add to this discussion?
Yeah, I haven't agreed with you all the time. I had a disagreement with you on free trade, but I was civil about it, and we came to a gentlemanly disagreement, and I think we were both fair. I think these people calling you and saying you're doing this and that is bull crap, and their sources are like, go to so and so on YouTube, go to Sherry Dickinson's YouTube channel where she wrote. I know personally 4 people in Spokane that have it, and 2 of them are still in the hospital. So yeah, a virus is real. Viruses are real, and as far as I can tell, this is a aggressive pneumonia virus that spreads like the flu. So,
yes,
I agree with what they're saying. They're definitely using it. It could be the economy was going to crash, but I don't think they're being fair to you. I think you're being, anyone that says they know exactly what's going on is an idiot. None of us really know exactly. All we can do is watch the numbers, and you've been very fair and said, hey, it doesn't look like the death rate's there. We don't know. So I think people are, I don't know, they're just spazzing out, and I think Alex Jones is spazzing out. And I'm watching just the numbers on Drudge Report. It has a sick nap. Okay. Now make of that what you will, but so the numbers are still growing. So I don't think by Easter they're going to even peak personally. So I'm taking it seriously. I've had pneumonia twice in my life and it really sucks. So I'm not going to sit there and say, I don't know. I think you're being pretty fair about all this. I'm personally going to wait for the numbers to peak, and they haven't peaked yet. And you can't just set a date like Easter, and worry about the economy when you got some huge virus spreading now. So I think these guys are just freaking out. And
well, I think that one
have their
caller was
sources
right.
all there.
I think that one caller was right that there are people who can't really deal with the fact that something like this could actually happen, and they're in a state of denial. And in order to reassure themselves that they're right, that this isn't a big problem, they're going to attack anybody who's out there saying that, we should exercise a reasonable amount of caution. We should follow the precautionary principle and say, hopefully it's going to leave us all alone. But people are sick. People are dying. Viruses are real. Ebola is a virus, for example. The T4 microphage is a virus, cute little thing, looks like a miniature lunar module. And so, yeah, there are people who are in denial.
Yeah, and the last caller was like, viruses aren't even real. Anyway, have a good job, Mike. Keep it up. Have a good day.
All right, thanks a lot. We got to take a break for commercials. More phone calls when we come back.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Homeowners, are you in foreclosure, expecting to be served with a foreclosure lawsuit, or suspect your lender has coerced you into an illegal mortgage transaction? A huge number of mortgages made in the last 10 years have legal issues and are possibly defective. State laws and the U.S. Supreme Court have upheld that defective mortgage documents are grounds for foreclosure defense and for counterclaims in favor of the homeowner. If your mortgage has been sold or assigned since closing the loan, it may be defective and you may be paying the wrong party, and the lender may not have standing or the right to foreclose or collect payments under the law. If you would like to know if your mortgage is legal or not, or know if you are paying the right party, we can help. Our initial consultations are free of charge. We are not attorneys. We are legal researchers and work closely with experienced lawyers who know how to help you find the evidence to help you keep your home. Call toll free 1-855-2-KEEP-IT. That's 1-855-2-KEEP-IT today.
How would you like to earn an extra $10,000 or more a month from the comfort of your home? We show you how to win with a home-based business opportunity. This could be one of the best financial decisions you ever make. Work from home, full-time or part-time. Plus, you'll never have to talk to anyone. Our professional sales team closes all your sales for you, and you keep 70% of all the sales made. You could be earning money while you're sleeping, shopping, working out, wherever you are, day or night. Our system goes to work for you. You can make a great income without any special computer skills or sales training. Plus, you get paid fast, within just 24 to 48 hours after our professional sales team closes a sale for you. Let us help you eliminate your financial concerns. You could be earning enough money to pay off debt, buy a house, a car, or whatever the case may be. We've got you covered. If you'd like to add an extra $10,000 or more a month to your portfolio, and you would like to know exactly what we're doing and how we're doing it, go now to www.getstartedwithus.com. That's www.getstartedwithus.com. Again, that's www.getstartedwithus.com.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. By Christine, great for heart palpitations. By Ann, before I started using this product, every afternoon, my ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had my yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Croc, I love this product. It really works. By Brad, works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero. You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Here is your host, Michael Rivero.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to the show. The phone lines are loaded up right now. Let's start with Dave in New York. Aloha, Dave. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yes. Hello, Mike. I've heard you many times, but I've never called, I don't think. There was a guest on today on a previous show, and they said the only place we see sick people is on the TV. And I never got to call in to tell them, well, as a matter of fact, I know a guy about 70-some years old. He's in the hospital here. They say he has COVID-19. And his daughter also had it. Now, apparently this is something that's communicable, whether it's a virus or a bacterium. Okay, we can have those kind of arguments. But there are people in the hospital with something that causes respiratory distress. And I will also say that I ran into a guy that works at a local hospital here that I know. And he said it takes us an hour to clean up a COVID room, and he thought it was kind of ridiculous. But I said, well, do you have any patients? He said, this was a week or so ago. He said, we have suspected cases. And since then, maybe in our county, they were up to 3. I think they're up to at least 5 cases. I didn't look today. But I think this is very real. I'm a scientist, and I also hear some people giving wingnut explanations that, don't have any scientific basis. And it's unfortunate, but I guess it's to be expected. I hate to have to wade through all their YouTubes to find out that they have some good information, and then they have some just totally wrong information, and people just suck it up like they do at church. When the minister reads the Bible and then he speaks his own words and people can't distinguish the two, that's mind control. So,
Well, they say propaganda is like rat. 90% of it is good and healthy food, and that's that other 10% you got to worry about.
yeah, and I think you're really pretty on target about this. I do appreciate the people who are talking about viruses that they don't cause death or whatever, they don't cause disease. Well, show me the information, show me the facts that prove this. Don't just quote Sherry Tenpenny or something, having said something. I mean, we need evaluated scientific proof. Secondly, in Italy, 743 people died yesterday, according to the report on Worldometer. They had the previous day 4,790 new cases. Their deaths due to COVID are 6,820 as of today, and the total deaths due to influenza in a season in Italy is 17,000. So they haven't reached that barrier yet, but I've seen predictions on this, and there's a guy who made predictions, and he's using a certain rate of growth of infections, and he predicted 363,000 cases outside of China yesterday. This morning there were 440,000 cases total, minus 80,000 for China, gives us 360,000. It was amazingly close. I was flabbergasted, really. But it could deviate over time, of course. But,
Yeah, very much.
Do you have any comments, Mike?
Yeah, Mike Adams over at Natural News put out this spreadsheet, which we linked to it, and I've copied it, and I've made some modifications to it myself. And as we go further along, barring some kind of a miracle vaccine or cure, the numbers do get frightening as you get into the end of June.
Yeah, and that's exactly the problem. If we don't quarantine people, those sort of predictions, and the government, I even had information from the NIH from the inside that expected very large potential deaths if they didn't do something. So I think that's the fear. It's not that, we've got, in our state, we got 5 people dead. Well, you have 5 dead, just watch what happens. With something that has a latency or induction period of up to 50 days, it could be, widely spread and we don't even know. So it's a wait and see, but it's not looking good.
Yeah. And again, I said this before, it may not look like it's a real problem right now. The issue is, what's it going to be 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks away from now? Right now, if as many people had COVID-19 as have the ordinary flu, we'd be looking at over 1 million deaths, because the flu's mortality rate is like 0.1% of 1%, and the mortality rate for COVID-19 in the United States is 1.3. So 10 times as many people are dying per capita of COVID-19 than are dying from the flu.
Well, I think we've discussed this a bit, and death rates are really meaningless because the numerator and especially the denominator of that fraction is really unknown. But I think that one good point to make out of this is that this is a point source. There were various point sources. This was not endemic. Whereas the influenza is endemic in the population. Every year it comes back at a certain rate, and it's spread all over the place. We didn't get rid of it. This thing is just starting up, and that's why the exponential factor is what's surprising in this. And that's the rest of my comments. Unless you have a question.
No, thank you very much for the phone call and for the information here. And I'm sorry to rush you, but we're running out of time on the show, and I got a bunch of calls to clear here. So let's go to Ryan in Cleveland. Aloha, Ryan. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing, Mike? Hey,
doing fine.
This one gentleman called in. Can you hear me?
You're on the air.
Yeah. You're concerned to me. I don't know if it's because you were sick the last year, but I don't know. But some of the things you say scare me the last 6 months to the 8 months. But the one caller called in and he gave you some things, and he said something about the virus is the people's paranoia, and then you said that's not a virus. He was speaking metaphorically, so it really concerns me that you try to dog this guy out when he was speaking metaphorically, and you didn't catch it, or he had made you look so bad that you had to like such a lame thing about there's not a virus. He was speaking metaphorically, Mike, which concerns me. And then your last caller, who dogged out Dr. Ten.
May I talk?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
he was blending.
Remember, metaphorically, he was speaking. And if you didn't catch that, that concerns me a whole lot.
Okay, we're going to let you go here at this point so that I can get a message out. He was trying to blend his metaphor with facts and trying to. It's like the guy said about the preacher who reads from the Bible and then adds his own words, and you can't tell the difference. And that's what this individual was trying to do here. And the reason that I drop anybody is because they're here to try and shout out their ideas and they're not really interested in having a discussion. Okay, so let's go to Paul in New Jersey. Aloha. Paul, welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hello, Michael. I think the coronavirus denialists better be careful because, in a sense, I wish you'd take names and set up a ledger and catalog all their names. So in a year from now, we'll see who was right and who was wrong. Personally, I'm the middle of the road guy who listens to both sides, and I'm actually playing that. Not only when I make myself heard publicly, but also how I've been playing the stock market. Now, if those guys out there are so certain the virus is just nonsense, then fellas, go mortgage your houses and go buy stock. Stock market's going to go up, and you'll make a ton of money once we figure out this was all just a charade, and the stocks are going to go up to 30,000 again, and you're going to make a ton of money. So do it. Put your money on the line. As is, I did half in, half out. I'm doing okay.
Okay.
Now, listen, another problem about the denialists, because what they're going to do, and we should ask them, how's the view from your petard guys? The fact of the matter is, it's like the governor of Louisiana and what's going on there. Because he's a denialist, he's spreading the coronavirus in his state and what he set as a leader to be indifferent about it among the whole state of Louisiana. Now, is the rest of the country going to have to bail them out now because they disregarded the potential deadliness of the disease? Are we going to have to, or all the ventilators going to have to be shipped to Louisiana because he gave the wrong message to his citizens? And what kind of business model is it where you basically want to kill off your citizens by endangering them because you are so certain the disease is a trifle, right? Or for example, there was the pastor in Louisiana. He wants to hold a church, a sermon, and he wants to fill it up with 1,000 people, right? Is that the right thing for a preacher to do? Endanger his parishioners, to be cavalier like that, instead of erring with caution. And that's the problem with the denialists. In a sense, they're playing ducks and drakes with complete strangers' lives. Because if you get the coronavirus and you're like, oh, well, it doesn't matter, it's not a big deal, and you go out and you spread it among others, you might be killing some complete stranger's mother because when he goes home, he gets home and spreads it to his mom, kills his mom. And that's the problem with these denialists. And I'll tell you this, I had a major league fight at work today because I've been, just trying to enforce and say, and by the way, Michael, what's so difficult about social distancing? Why do you have to get 2 feet close to somebody? What's wrong with 6 feet from another person? What's the big deal? I don't get it. To me, it's just, why not just adapt our behavior, wear a mask when you go in public? And by the way, I think that's going to be what's coming. I think a lot of states are going to basically pass laws where and by the way, they should do this, and they've done it in the past. They did that back during the Spanish flu in California, mandated wearing masks. Right. So it's basically going to come if we want to get back, and I do believe we have to get back to business. But basically, in public, you're going to have to wear a mask, and you're going to have to keep 6 feet away from other people. It's small inconvenience to save lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not flood the hospital emergency rooms with too many people all at once. And that's what this is all about, is to, flatten the curve so the hospitals and the medical people can handle the influx of sick people. And this is what the Dr. John Campbell has been talking about over on YouTube, is about we don't want to flood the hospitals.
Yes.
So I really think the denialists out there, and they know who they are. fellas, you're painting yourselves in a corner. If this turns out as bad as the fella over at the website Stranger Than Fiction News thinks it is, and if you also believe, by the way, why do we all of a sudden not trust the Chinese or trust the Chinese? Which one is it? Because the Epoch Times of China, you're aware of this paper, the Epoch Times, very conservative anti-Chinese paper. They're claiming that there are 20 million fewer cell phones in China now since the Wuhan pandemic and in China. And so people are wondering, it's Wuhan seems empty. It seems like a lot of the buildings that used to, the apartments are emptier. So perhaps what happens if China lied and downplayed the amount of deaths? What then?
It becomes a real problem for everybody. And again,
Exactly.
as I said before, the reason people are getting hysterical or they're getting into denial is because of the awareness that everybody is fudging the numbers both directions and everybody's exploiting this crisis for whatever agenda they're pushing.
Right, but I just say, like, I understand, get back to business, but wear masks, employ these measures just as consideration to strangers, and we'll see what goes on. What's the big deal of just putting on a mask and keeping 6 feet away from people? I just don't see the problem.
No, I don't see a
Anyway,
problem with that either. In fact, I saw somebody today wearing a mask as well. All right. Well, Paul,
very considerate. Yep, thank you.
Thank you. We switch over to Jim in Illinois. Aloha, Jim. We're running out of time. So what's on your mind?
Well, Michael, to be real quick, as far as this virus, the one thing I fear is the unknown. We don't know how long it's going to last, what to do about it, and we don't know how people are going to react if things get worse, and I think it will. So the unknown bothers me than anything else. I'm not worried about the virus. I'm more worried about the unknown. And as far as the money that was going to be sent out, do you really think it's going to stimulate the economy? I don't think so.
It's not enough.
It's like a pimple being on an elephant's ass. It's not going to do hardly anything. Most people are going to use that money to pay their bills or their rent or their mortgage. But once that's done, are they going to be going back to ask for more money? We cannot continue to print money, but eventually inflation's going to kick in.
Yep.
So,
not without
well,
a huge.
Michael, that's all.
All right. Well,
again,
thanks.
please?
No, I said thank you
Okay,
very
thank
much
you.
for the phone call. And we're going to switch over to another Jim. This one's in New York. Aloha, Jim. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind? Jim in New York. Aloha. Are you there?
Yes, I'm sorry. Hello.
Hello.
I think people are afraid of the unknown, and I
Yes.
think 2 callers ago, we should err on the side of caution.
I agree.
I don't know what to make of this virus. I suspect it's a bioweapon, but I have no hard evidence of that. I think soon, even now, you're hearing about COVID-19 truthers, just like 9/11 truthers. And this one, 9/11, was so in your face, so much overwhelming evidence that it was a false flag. This one is very covert. So this one would be very hard to prove. But I suspect the usual suspects, CIA, and this could have been deliberately set. They had these military games in Wuhan in October. That is circumstantial evidence. And I just want to refer your audience into, if they go to Biblicism Institute, Insight, the Trump virus. Very interesting. Now, I don't like the title. It's not the Trump virus. I think it's the CIA virus. But I think they may have used this to try to hurt China. And it's just worth looking into. But let's hope in another month from now it'll, die down and everything will go back to normal.
I would love to see Trump being right that this is all over by the 12th.
Yeah, well, and I found it interesting that in China people were mad that one of a Chinese restaurant put out a sign, "Congratulations, U.S. We're happy you got it." Now, by that response, that tells me maybe they think the CIA did it.
It may well be. I mean, that's certainly the opinion of the Chinese government that it was a biological attack by the U.S. Anyway, listen, Jim, I got to let you go. We got to take a break for commercial. Back with more phone calls for the last segment of our program after these few words.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
How healthy are your arteries? Deteriorating circulation has a number of early warning signs. High cholesterol, high blood pressure, fingers and or toes often go cold, arms and or legs often go to sleep, sharp diagonal crease in the earlobe, short walks cause cramping or pains in legs. Memory is not as good as it used to be, ankles swell late in the day, chest pain after physical exercise or emotional stress. If you experience even one of these symptoms, your circulatory system is crying out for attention. Extendivite is a natural solution to help improve your overall health. Extendivite is not your average heart tonic. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com or find us on Amazon.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
The Republic Broadcasting Network late night premiere show of Red Pill Hardcore is hosted by activists that want to hear from you, the listeners. So that you can get involved in the activism, please call in at 800-313-9443 at 10 p.m. to enter the discussion. To book yourself as a guest, call our studio at 202-657-5715 or contact RBN staff. Remember, keep it real and take the Red Pill.
When all this twisted steel was swept away, did these remaining holes reveal what's really happened?
And aloha, America. Welcome back to our show. Last segment of our program today. We've got two more callers to get through, and we're going to start with Gabriel in New York. Aloha, Gabriel. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind? Gabriel, are you there? Okay, well, let's switch over to Francis in North Carolina then. Francis, are you there?
Hello, Mikey.
Hello, Francis. How you doing? What's on your mind?
I'm breathing.
Good.
No,
Well, good thing to do.
seriously speaking.
I shouldn't do
have
that.
three
I
quick points.
encourage breathers. They keep calling back.
Oh, okay. Missed that one anyway. But never mind. Three quick points for you. One, when you talk about social space being however many feet it is, I think people have forgotten about the interstate. Yeah? You there?
Yeah, keep
Hi.
talking.
Okay. I thought it was. When you talk about social space being like so many feet or whatever from each other, there is such a thing that they may have forgotten about what's called personal space, which is at least 3 foot or
Yes.
whatever the case might be from each other. So people need to remember that. Apparently they forgot. Two, as far as the scenario with the mask is concerned, which I find is admirable, but you know what? The eyes are a mucous membrane, and if a virus wants to get in your body, it's wide open because nobody with any type of, I guess, goggles or glasses or whatever to protect their eyes. Now you watch people make a run for the hardware store to get goggles now. And three, last of all, I am so looking forward to seeing April 1st. It's not even silly, which happens to be on a Wednesday. And that's my funny for the day.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that. And apparently we lost Gabriel in New York. Thank you for the phone call, Francis. We're going to let you go. We're going to close the phone lines for the rest of the show. We've only got a couple of minutes here. And in responding to some of the phone calls that we received today, I want to reiterate, I don't want people to panic. I don't want hysteria. I think this emptying the supermarket shelves of toilet paper really is a lot of nonsense here. I'm very upset with people who are playing hoaxes, using coronavirus to plant malware on computers. Everybody's using this crisis for whatever their agenda is. And I think this is a time when all of us need to seek that better human being inside, help our neighbors. And again, don't go crazy about what's going on, but be cautious, be careful. Social distance is important. Just think about how much money you're going to spend on cologne and deodorant if you don't have to be close to people, which, on a more serious note, if you're close enough to somebody to smell their cologne, you're close enough to catch the virus from them. So that might be sort of a little indicator. If you smell their sweet smell, take a step back. All righty, getting on back to the economic news here. Apparently, more workers filed for unemployment last week than any other week in U.S. history, and it's probably going to be a lot worse next week. There's music. Time for me to get on out of here. Stay tuned for John Stadmiller. I'm sure he's got lots of interesting things to share with you. Please spread the word of RBN. Spread the word of whatreallyhappened.com. Please donate. And we'll be back tomorrow. Aloha, America.
Thank you.